Darius wasn't used to being noticed. He sat in the second-to-last row of room 214, next to the window that always leaked when it rained. His hoodie was 2 sizes too big, his shoes had names written on the soles from old owners, and his grades were just good enough to keep him out of trouble, but not good enough to get him out of the neighborhood. Nobody expected much from him. Not teachers. Not classmates. Not even himself. So when Ms. Aldridge called his name after class, his first thought was, what did I do now? She held a single sheet of paper in her hand, his essay. The one from last week's state writing prompt. You wrote this? She asked, not unkindly, but sharply. Darius looked at the paper. His name was right there. Slanted handwriting in the corner. Yes, he said, hesitant. She stared at him. By yourself? Something in her tone made his stomach twist. Yeah. I mean, yeah. I stayed up late working on it. She didn't answer. Just nodded once and dismissed him. But as he walked out, he could feel it, the heat of suspicion following him down the hallway like a shadow. That night, he couldn't sleep. The essay had come from somewhere raw. He hadn't meant to write something good. He just told the truth. About the cracked ceilings in his apartment. The neighbor who screamed at night. The way his little sister clung to him like he was her only shield from the world. And the question that kept him awake, what kind of man am I becoming in this place? He didn't use big words. He didn't copy anyone. He just wrote what hurt. Next morning, the principal called him in. 2 people sat waiting, Ms. Aldridge and a man he'd never seen before. District rep? Investigator? They slid the essay toward him. We need to ask, the principal said. Did anyone help you write this? No. Did you use AI? A website? No. Did a teacher or tutor look over it? No, Darius said again, louder now. The man leaned forward. Darius, you understand, this isn't about punishment. But this writing, it's not consistent with your past work. There it was. The unspoken line. You're not smart enough to write this. He left the office humiliated. Not because he was caught cheating. Because no one believed he could do something real. On his own. That night, he didn't eat. Just lay in bed, staring at the cracked ceiling, wishing he'd never written a damn word. But in room 104, someone else was reading that essay for the 3rd time. Mr. Reyes, the literature teacher who almost never spoke unless he was quoting Baldwin or Hughes, had been asked to review it for authenticity. But what he saw wasn't fraud. It was real. It was messy. Sharp. Quietly angry. And it sounded exactly like someone trying to scream without making a sound. Darius sat at lunch with his hood up, pushing cold fries around his tray like they owed him something. The whispers had started. He heard them in the halls, between locker slams and fake laughs. Did you hear he faked that essay? Ms. Aldridge caught him cheating or something. He probably used ChatGPT or whatever. He didn't look up. Didn't correct anyone. What's the point? He thought. They've already decided who I am. His best friend, Malik, dropped into the seat across from him. Yo. You good? Darius nodded, not really meaning it. Malik leaned closer. You really wrote that thing yourself? Darius met his eyes for a second, not angry, just tired. Yeah. Malik gave a half smile, half shrug. Damn, bro. Maybe you just unlocked your inner Shakespeare or something. Darius didn't laugh. Didn't even smile. Because even Malik, his day one, had asked the same question everyone else did, you. After lunch, Ms. Aldridge called him in again. This time, she wasn't alone. Mr. Reyes was there too, the quiet literature teacher who looked like he'd seen the whole world and decided to say nothing about it. He sat with the essay in hand, fingers lightly resting on the paper. "Darius," he said softly. "Would you mind reading a part of it out loud?" Darius hesitated. "Why?" "Because I want to hear you in it." Darius looked down at the paper. Felt the words crawling up from memory. He cleared his throat, then began. "If they knew me, they'd stop saying I'm quiet like it's a compliment. They'd know I don't speak because when the walls at home scream all night, you learn to listen instead. They'd know I sleep with my shoes on, in case the fire alarm's not a drill. That my little sister thinks I'm brave because I lie well. That I smile at teachers so they don't ask me what's really wrong. And that sometimes, the loudest part of my day is when I sharpen a pencil just to hear something steady." The room was silent. No typing. No pages turning. Just breath. Mr. Reyes finally nodded. "I believe you." Ms. Aldridge looked at Darius differently now, not like a suspect, but like a stranger she had never really tried to know. "Why didn't you write like this before?" she asked. He shrugged. "'Cause they wouldn't believe me anyway. After school, Mr. Reyes caught up with him by the exit. "I meant it," he said. "That was one of the most honest things I've ever read." Darius gave a small nod. "Thanks." Reyes hesitated. Then added. "You ever thought about writing for real?" Darius looked at him, confused. "Like books and stuff?" "Like anything. Stories. Essays. Doesn't matter. You've got something people listen to, even if they don't want to admit it." That night, Darius sat on the floor of his room. His sister was asleep, curled beside their dog-eared copy of Green Eggs and Ham. He pulled out a notebook. Not for school. Not for grades. Just for him. And wrote at the top of the page. "Things I'll say out loud one day." It was a Saturday when Mr. Reyes invited Darius for a walk. Not detention. Not extra credit. Just a walk. They met outside the school gates. Reyes had no clipboard, no coffee, no teacher face. Just a jacket and an easy, unreadable smile. "You always this casual with students?" Darius asked. "Only the ones who make me think." They walked down toward the old library that hadn't been open in years. Empty basketball courts. Cracked sidewalks. The same smell of bus fumes and sidewalk dust that always hung in the air. "You got siblings?" Reyes asked. "One," Darius said. "Little sister. Kamaya. She's 7. Thinks she's 27. Reyes chuckled. "I had a brother like that. Always stealing my socks." Darius gave a small smile. Then silence. But it wasn't awkward. Just waiting. Eventually, Darius spoke again. "My mom works nights. Hospital laundry. She's usually gone when I leave and not home when I sleep." "What about your dad?" Darius shrugged. "Not part of the picture." More silence. "She used to cry more. I think she's too tired now." They stopped at a bench near the rec center. It was peeling and crooked, like everything else in the neighborhood, but it held. Darius sat, picking at the loose threads in his sleeve. "I pack Kamaya's lunch every morning. Make sure she gets on the bus. Help her with spelling. She calls me second dad sometimes." Reyes didn't say anything. "She doesn't really know we're poor. We keep the lights on, the fridge hums. That's enough for her." He paused. "But I know. Every month is math. Rent math. Grocery math. Can we make it math?" Mr. Reyes nodded slowly. "Sounds like you carry a lot." Darius looked up. "I don't say that so people feel bad. I say it 'cause they keep acting like I have time to write about freaking Shakespeare." Reyes smiled faintly. Maybe you should keep writing about you instead. Darius hesitated. Then asked. Why are you doing this? Talking to me like this? Because I had a student like you once, Reyes said. Smart. Quiet. Angry. Nobody took the time. He dropped out his junior year. What happened to him? Reyes looked out toward the chain-link fence. He's not around anymore. Darius stared at the ground. I don't want to disappear. Reyes's voice was quiet. Then don't. As the sun dipped lower, Darius stood up. I should get back. Kamaya's with a neighbor. She'll be asking for mac and cheese in exactly 30 minutes. They started walking. Mr. Reyes? Yeah. I've never really told someone all that. About home and stuff. Reyes nodded once. You just did. Monday morning. Darius walked into room 214 with his head low, hoodie up, and shoulders already tense, like he was bracing for a punch that hadn't landed yet. It didn't take long. As he stepped past the first row of desks, someone coughed, loud and fake. Genius incoming. Snickers. Another voice, behind him. Yo D, how many ghostwriters you got, man? Drake your cousin or what? More laughter. Darius kept walking. Sat down in his usual spot. Second to last row. Next to the leaky window. But the noise didn't stop. Across the room, Jeremy, the loudmouth who always had something to say, leaned back in his chair, arms folded behind his head. Come on, bro. You seriously expect us to believe you wrote that essay? What, you grew a Harvard brain overnight? Darius looked up, eyes tired but sharp. Yeah. I wrote it. Jeremy smirked. Sure you did. And that was it. That smirk. That smug little curl at the corner of Jeremy's mouth. Something in Darius snapped. He stood up. No yelling. No fists. Just a voice steady enough to make the room go still. You think just 'cause I don't talk much, I don't think. You think because my clothes are old and I don't raise my hand every 5 minutes, that I don't feel stuff. The room got quiet. Darius stepped forward, toward the center aisle. Let me tell you something. If none of you can write something real, something that actually means something, that doesn't mean I can't. A beat. You look at me like I'm beneath you. But maybe you're just scared that I'm not. Now he was right in front of Jeremy's desk. You call me fake. Fine. But if being real means acting like you, shallow, loud, and empty, then I'm glad I'm different. Jeremy started to say something, but Darius cut him off. You know what? Y'all think I'm the one who doesn't belong here? Maybe it's the other way around. His voice rose, sharp and clear. You're not better than me. You're just louder. He turned to the class, scanning every face. I live in a place where I hear gunshots at night. I tuck my sister in knowing I might not wake up to the same world in the morning. But I still show up. I still write. I still try. And then, louder now. If you can't write like me, that doesn't mean I cheated. It means you got nothing worth saying. You think I'm trash. Maybe you're just a bunch of scared little punks. No, screw it, a bunch of stuck-up, arrogant little assholes. Silence. Then a voice behind him. That's enough. Darius froze. He turned slowly. Standing by the door, unnoticed until now, was Ms. Aldrich. Her face unreadable. Her arms crossed. The class sat frozen, half in fear, half in awe. Darius looked down, breathing hard. His fists were clenched, but shaking. Ms. Aldrich stepped into the room. Her heels echoed like gunshots on the tile. We'll talk after class, she said quietly. Then, to everyone else. Open your books. Now. Darius walked back to his desk like someone had pulled the floor out from under him. He didn't know if he was in trouble. Didn't care, really. Because for the first time in a long time, he'd said what needed to be said. And he didn't regret a single word. The next day, Darius sat alone in room 104. His essay, now marked and stapled, sat untouched on the desk in front of him. Mr. Reyes leaned against the windowsill, arms crossed. Ms. Aldrich stood nearby, shifting nervously like she wasn't used to being unsure. "Darius," she started, "we're planning an assembly next Friday. For the school-wide writing showcase." Darius didn't answer. "We'd like you to read your piece," Reyes added. Still nothing. Ms. Aldrich stepped forward. "I know things got tense yesterday. But maybe this is a way to reclaim the narrative." Darius finally looked up. "You mean prove I'm not a liar?" "No," Reyes said calmly. "I mean show them the writer you are." Darius shook his head. "I'm not reading it. Not for them." Ms. Aldrich hesitated. "Can I ask why?" He stood, his voice low but firm. "Because they don't deserve it." He paced a few steps, hands in his pockets. "I'm not gonna stand on some stage and pour my guts out to a bunch of kids who laughed at me 2 days ago. They need to hear it," Aldrich said gently. "I needed to be heard last week," he replied. "Not now, after they already tore me down." Mr. Reyes watched him, then spoke. "So this is it? One hit, and you shut the door." Darius turned. "I'm not shutting the door. I'm just not performing for people who didn't care until they got caught being wrong." The room was quiet for a moment. Then Reyes nodded slowly. "Fair enough." Ms. Aldrich opened her mouth to speak again, but Reyes raised a hand. He stepped forward, picked up the essay from the desk, and held it between 2 fingers. "If you're not ready to speak it, maybe you'd let someone else read it." Darius frowned. "Like who?" "Not here," Reyes said. "Out there." He reached into his bag and pulled out a folded pamphlet. "The Young Writers' Review, monthly publication of essays, poetry, and voices from underrepresented youth. Small magazine. Real editors. Real readers. No clapping high schoolers. Just people who read because they want to feel something." Darius looked at the pamphlet, then at Reyes. "You think they'd publish me?" "I don't know," Reyes admitted. "But I think they should. And I think you should give them the chance." Darius took the paper. Held it. Folded it again, neatly, precisely. "Let me think about it. That's all I ask." Later that evening, Darius walked home through a light drizzle. The streets shimmered like they were made of glass. He stopped at a red mailbox and stared at it for a moment. Then he reached into his backpack, pulled out the essay, now sealed in an envelope with the address from the pamphlet, and dropped it inside. Thunk. A small sound. But somehow, it felt louder than anything he'd said that week. It was nearly 7 p.m. when the knock came at the door. Darius wasn't expecting anyone. His mom was folding laundry on the couch, Kamaya was drawing unicorns with 3 eyes at the kitchen table, and the rice cooker beeped its usual offbeat tune. He opened the door slowly, already bracing for a neighbor needing something, or worse, a problem. But it was Mr. Reyes. In jeans, a worn jacket, and holding a slim envelope. "Hope I'm not intruding," he said. Darius blinked. "You walked here?" Reyes gave a small smile. "You live closer than you think." Inside, the apartment was clean but clearly lived in. Scuffed walls. A small couch patched with tape. Faded curtains with superheroes on them. Darius's mom stood, wiping her hands on a towel. "Can I help you?" "Ma'am," Reyes said politely. "I'm Mr. Reyes. I teach your son." She raised an eyebrow. "Did he do something?" Darius winced. No, Mom. Reyes chuckled. Quite the opposite. They sat around the table. Kamaya watched them curiously, swinging her feet back and forth beneath her chair. Reyes slid the envelope across the table. It's from the Young Writers Review. The magazine we submitted to. Darius took it slowly. Opened it. 3 words stood out. We want more. He read aloud. Your essay moved our entire editorial team. We'd like to feature it in our next issue, and we're prepared to commission a series of personal essays from you on similar themes. The stories you have are valuable, and we'd like to pay you fairly for them. Our budget for this project is $750 per piece, with the option for continued collaboration. Darius stopped reading. He stared at the letter like it was written in another language. His mom was still. Absolutely still. Wait, she said, voice cracking a little. You're saying, they want to pay you? For something you wrote? Reyes nodded. Not just one piece. A series. Kamaya gasped. Dari gets money for words. Darius let out a stunned laugh. Reyes looked at him. You okay? I think so, Darius said. I never thought something I wrote would matter. His mom slowly sat down. Her eyes were glossy, but she blinked it away fast. I've worked nights for 16 years, she said softly. Pushed carts of dirty linen across slippery floors, while my son was quietly turning into someone the world wants to hear. She looked at him. Darius. Is this real? He nodded. And in that moment, he saw it, that tiny spark in her expression. Not relief. Not pride exactly. Something deeper. Like she could finally exhale after holding her breath for years. Kamaya leaned over and whispered, You rich now? Darius grinned. Not even close. But can we get real syrup now? Not the fake kind. Everyone laughed. Even his mom, a short, surprised laugh like she forgot how. Mr. Reyes stood. I'll leave you all to celebrate, he said. But Darius, think about what this means. You've got something they want. That people want. And it came from the one place nobody looked. He nodded at them, then let himself out. Darius sat there, letter still in his hands. His mom rubbed his back once, firmly. The way she always did when he fell and scraped his knees as a kid. You did this, she whispered. And for the first time in a long time, Darius believed her. The night air was cold, sharper than usual. Darius had barely thrown on his hoodie before running out of the building, feet hitting cracked sidewalk fast and uneven. He saw Mr. Reyes about halfway down the block, walking steadily under a flickering street lamp. Mr. Reyes, he called out. Reyes turned, surprised. Darius slowed as he caught up, breath short, heart still racing. I didn't get to say thanks, Darius said. You already did, Reyes replied gently. No, not for the letter. For all of it. They stood in silence a few seconds. The city hummed around them, buses in the distance, a dog barking, the occasional passing car. I mean it, Darius said. You didn't have to care. Reyes smiled faintly. Maybe not. But I did. They walked together, no destination in mind. Just movement. Darius stuffed his hands in his hoodie. You ever have someone like you, when you were my age? He asked. Reyes looked ahead, thoughtful. No. That's probably why I became a teacher. He paused. I spent too long thinking I was just background. Took me years to realize I could shape the story, too. Darius nodded. I thought if I stayed quiet, the world would leave me alone. But it didn't. It just forgot I existed. Reyes glanced over. You know, I used to get panic attacks before class when I first started teaching. Darius blinked. You. Reyes nodded. Every time I stood in front of a room, I thought, what if I mess up? What if they know I don't have it all figured out? He chuckled softly. Truth is, nobody does. We just pretend better with age. They stopped near a low wall by the park. Reyes sat first. Darius followed. The night stretched out around them, quiet and still. I'm scared, Darius said. Reyes didn't flinch. Of what? That they'll forget. That this is just luck. That I'll mess it up. Reyes nodded. Fear's a sign you're growing. If you weren't scared, you wouldn't care. Darius looked down. My mom called me a man tonight. First time she's ever said that. But I don't feel like one. What do you feel like? Reyes asked. Like a kid with a pencil and too much pressure. Reyes smiled gently. You don't have to be a man in the way people think. Being a man is just showing up when it's hard. And writing the truth when your voice shakes. They sat a moment, wind brushing over them. Darius looked up. You think I'm good enough to do this for real? Reyes didn't hesitate. I know you are. Darius was quiet. Then, what if I disappoint them? Reyes looked him in the eye. You won't. And if I do? Then write again. Fail better. Darius gave a half laugh, half sigh. You sound like you've failed a lot. Reyes smiled. Every week. A car passed, and its lights painted their faces in slow motion. Then Darius asked. You think people like us, kids from places like this, we really got a chance? Reyes breathed in deep. You're not a chance. You're a storm waiting to happen. They just don't know it yet. A long silence. Then Darius asked the question he'd never asked anyone. What if I fall? Reyes answered without missing a beat. Then call me. I'll help you back up. Darius blinked. Looked away. Wiped his face with his sleeve. Thanks, he said. For not seeing me the way everyone else did. I didn't see you differently, Reyes said. I just took the time to really look. They sat longer. No rush. No pressure. Eventually, Darius stood. I should go. Kama'll think I got kidnapped. Reyes rose too. You'll do good things, Darius. I'll try. You don't have to try. You already are. They shook hands. And for a moment, it wasn't student and teacher. Just two people. One with a future. And one who helped him find the way there. As Darius walked back toward the building, he passed the mailbox where he dropped off his essay. He touched it gently. Then looked up at the night sky. Not hoping. Just steady.